Hello and welcome into episode 99. Shout out Taco Fall. Two-man game with Damon and Dom. I'm Damon, that's Dom. You are the listener or watcher, I suppose. If you have the video pulled up, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, leave 5 stars, and on either platform, share, and share again. It is Wednesday, December 10th, 1 week since our last recorded episode. Not a ton has happened, but we do want to provide some quick updates on what's going on around the league prior to diving into some fake trades that we think could be interesting. Trade deadline still a couple months away. I think it's a little more interesting to talk fake trades now because trade deadline comes and it's like, here's these 40 real trades that happened, and we're not going to talk about fake trades before then. We'll just see what goes on, where these teams are currently at. Dom, how are you on this fine December Wednesday evening?
Thank you very much for the introduction, Damon. I'm doing well. I'm watching it is the NBA Cup. There were some games yesterday. There are games today. I am watching the OKC Thunder beat the Suns by 50. Okay, sorry, 53 right now. They just made a three. Love that for them. I'm doing well. I had a really fun weekend. I did a lot. Had a friend in town, and whom you know, Shay. Shout out Shay. And we had a lot of good fun and a lot of dancing and a lot of catching up. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm gonna be home again very soon for Christmas. It's like 2 weeks, so it's kind of crazy. The turnaround is wild, but I am having a good time, enjoying the holidays so far. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm glad to hear that. Glad you had a good time with our mutual friend Shay. I'm doing good. I've had a good week. I've actually slept a decent amount, with the exception of last night, in which I didn't sleep that well. But the previous 2 nights, I slept pretty good. I also started sort of a diet, I guess. Here's what I used to do. I used to go. My breakfast was like one of those like Atkins shakes and
Mm.
like a fruit bar or something like that, Nutri-Grain bar, kind of that thing. And then lunch would be like normal, like a meal, and then dinner would be like a meal. I now forego breakfast and I do the shake and fruit bar at lunch and then a meal at dinner. So I'm cutting
Oh,
a whole meal out. Um,
are you not hungry? Like, are you? I know it
oh,
takes
I
sometimes.
felt a little hunger. Felt a little hunger
I know
for
it takes a little
sure.
bit for the body. Like I also started eating less, and that's why when I went home and there was so much food, I like couldn't eat that much, which is a good
Yeah,
thing. You don't need to eat as much as we usually put on a plate, but I'm glad to hear it. I mean, if not like the fruit bar, maybe like let me like two fruit bars or something. You know, like, maybe
right.
just a little bit more at lunch, but like that's good. I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, and then I also started this week, so this is my third day in a row. I know you. I hope you don't mind me shouting this out. You like to go on runs. It's been a thing that you've done recently. I'm
Hmm.
not quite running status yet, and I am not going to motivate myself to wake up and do an actual workout prior to work. It's just not who I am. But I also know that when I get home from work, it's already 7 p.m. and I'm like, I don't, I'm not really feeling like doing anything. So what I've started doing is the third day I've done it, is going on a walk during my lunch. So, um, it started Monday, and I went on a walk, and I basically my lunch is an hour. I just set a timer for the 30-minute mark, and then whenever I hit the timer, I just turned around. Basically, like I just walked out of my workplace in a direction, and I ended up walking like 1.1 miles. Uh, there 30 minutes and then also back. So 2 miles per lunch break. So I've walked 6 miles this week on my lunch breaks.
That's
Um,
really good. That's
yeah,
I love walking on my lunch break. That a reason why every time I go into work, I have a meal. Like I don't bring a meal usually because if I bring a meal, I eat a meal in my office, and then it feels weird to go and walk out. So I like to walk somewhere to get something of food. Then I walk around campus, and I know I have a campus which is nice to walk around. But how is it? Is there a lot of easy places to walk around where the school is, or?
yeah. So it's on like a kind of a long-ish road that is like a bunch. It's like a busy-ish road with businesses and such, and other schools and things like that. So it's like a 4-lane road with a middle lane in between. But there's It's a nice area. There's nice sidewalks on the side. No guardrail, so if somebody really wants to take me out, they can. But yeah, it's just like kind of cruising down the sidewalk, and it's
Yeah,
kind of a more nature-ish. I don't know if that's a word. More nature-filled part of Austin. So there's trees and such everywhere.
that's cool. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome. And I'm sure, now is a good time to do that. Hopefully, it might be tough when it's like 120 degrees
It's gonna be
outside.
tough.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little tough. But
But
if
then
I
you'll burn
start
even
now,
more. You'll burn more calories when it's hot outside.
it's
That's what I
true.
tell myself when I'm like suffocating outside, but it's never as bad as it is there. Um, but
I
yeah,
learned already that I brought tennis shoes Tuesday because Monday I had a blister immediately doing that walk in my work shoes, and I was like, okay, disaster idea. Let me bring some tennis shoes tomorrow.
no, yeah, very smart. You gotta be prepared. Gotta be prepared for that. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Health is most important. Absolutely. You know what's second important after health?
After health is, oh, let me guess, gambling.
It's gambling, and then it's gambling on basketball, and then it's basketball. Oh, we're kidding. We're kidding. Second is basketball. Come on, guys. Lock in. Lock
We're actually
in.
an anti-gambling podcast if you're new
Yeah,
here.
so if any anti-gambling companies want to hit us up, like we will totally support you in anti-gambling. So we're gonna look around the league. We're gonna look around the league a
It's
little bit.
time to look around. Look, yeah, it feels like one of those intros where like you hear "look around the league," but like from a bunch of different voices kind of overlapping. You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
I can't
Look,
do it because I'm one person, but you get it.
look around the league.
Look
Look
around the
around the
league. Look
league.
around the
Look
league.
around the
Look around
league.
the league.
I
Excellent. Let's
will.
record that and I'll plug it in every following episode.
And go. Okay, and now we're gonna record it. And right
Excellent.
now, here we
Excellent.
go. So we'll stop. We're starting in the West, just real quick. So
Yeah.
Thunder are now 24-1. They just finished the game. They just won. They're 3-0 since the last episode. My God, congrats to them. I mean, what more to say? Hey,
The
you know
one
what?
game they lost was against the Blazers, and they're up 20 in that game. So they
Yeah.
could be, this is still on pace to break the record.
Yeah, it would be a phenomenal year to witness that. Second, we have the Lakers, my Los Angeles Lakers, 17-6. They're 2-1 since the last episode. They're actually about to play in the NBA Cup, happening right now since the last game just finished. But in the last three games, they were tied with the Raptors. It was down to the wire, and Ruby Hachimura made a game-winning three at the buzzer against the Raptors. It's very important to note as well that LeBron was the one that assisted it. He had 8 points, and he had a record of most consecutive games played scoring at least 10 points, which is now broken. But he made the right play by passing it. They won the game, and I loved at the end of the game they asked him, "How do you feel about the record being broke? That it is now over." He said, "We won. That's all that matters." So love that attitude. Love that from him. We did lose to the Celtics in the next game. It was a bit of a blowout in the second half. First half was pretty competitive. We did not have Luca or LeBron playing. Austin Reeves did his best, but the Celtics just really suffocated him, and no one else could really create or do anything. So we lost. Celtics keep finding a way to win. We'll talk about them a little bit later. And then the Lakers played the 76ers, which was a very good game, very close. And LeBron, so Luca was really the leading scorer the whole game, had like the stats, but LeBron took over in the fourth quarter. And for the first time ever, he combined his celebration, the silencer, and the crowning. And they asked him about
History
that at the
made
end.
right there.
Yeah, and he said, "Yeah, it's the first time. I don't know why I did it." So, but it was kind of fun to see. He had his best game so far since being back. I believe it was 29 points and like 6 assists, 8 rebounds, something like that. It was finally a nicely filled stat sheet, whereas before it was like 8 points, 10 points, and then quite a few turnovers. So just seemed like he finally has his footing under him, and we will see how the game tonight goes. I would anticipate the Lakers winning, but the Spurs are also a team that find a way. But we're
Fair.
gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the third
Wait,
seed. Oh, oh,
two things about LeBron,
tell
real
me,
quick.
tell me.
One, people really like to bring up, I think it's game four in the 2011 finals. He scored 8 against the Mavericks. Um, so they're like, it was already broken. This is a regular season games record. Uh, please understand and don't be an idiot. Second part, he still has the record for most consecutive 5-point games.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, he's my goat. That's my goat.
Second seed with LeBron starting the season with sciatica not being there is still wildly impressive. So way to go, you. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. No, it is really exciting to see. I mean, that's the power of Luca. I mean, I gotta love seeing it. And even when he was out, Austin Reeves is just really a breakthrough year. I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot about him, talking a lot about him throughout the year. I already keep hearing everyone talking about him. So, well
All star,
deserved.
all star.
Hey, that was one of my. I think that was one of my hot takes
That
early in the
was it
season. Yeah,
was.
it's pretty crazy. Third, third seed right now. We got the Nuggets, who were previously fifth, so they rose up a little bit. They're 14-6, 3-0 since the last episode. Aaron Gordon's still out with the hamstring strain and has missed the last 9 games. Reports suggest that he'll be out until after Christmas. Get well soon. Nuggets are doing okay though. And what more can I say except Jokic is a monster.
Yeah, Jokic really good. Jamal Murray really good. Teams coming together. Um, Definitely, it feels like, despite the Lakers being the 2 seed, it still feels like the Thunder first and the Nuggets second are teams you do not want to match up against come playoff time, at least as of this moment.
Yeah, the Nuggets have the depth, which is what's really scary. And even they won a game without Christian Brown against a really, it was a really competitive game you mentioned. I don't remember who
Yeah,
it
last episode
was.
I definitely talked about it,
Yeah.
and I definitely forgot.
Yeah. No, and winning without one of your starting players is a testament to the
Oh, you
team.
know what? I think it was against the Rockets. That's why I talked about
That will make sense. Hey,
it.
since you mentioned him, let's talk about him. Who's
The
fourth?
Rockets, we've fallen from grace from third all the way to fourth. To 2-1 since the last episode. 50-6 our current record. Last time we were recording on the third, we were beat the Kings. I think I talked about that already, so I'm not gonna talk about it again. But it was playing while we were recording last time. And then Amin Thompson, 31 points, which is a lot for Amin Thompson because offense is certainly not the thing he's most known for. Usually transition buckets, things like that, but not a lot of half court offense. So 31 was good. He thwarted the mighty effort of Dylan Brooks, who is still on a scoring tear, by the way. When we played the Suns back on December 5th, and then we had a back-to-back game on the 6th against the Mavericks, and we just got outbigged. They had Anthony Davis playing again. Daniel Gafford, I believe, also played in this game. We did not have Shingun. We did not have Steven Adams. So we were just getting rebounded upon, kind of getting killed in the paint. Kevin Durant and Jabari and the remnants of Clint Capella, I suppose, was there. And that is that made sense to me that we lost that game. And with it being back to back, I think, just resting some of our key guys made sense. And then we haven't played since then. It's been 4 days. We have not played since that loss against the Mavericks. We play again tomorrow, I believe, against the Clippers, I want to say, when I was looking at the schedule. But these NBA kind of cup games have kind of messed everyone's schedule up. That's something I noticed when looking at the slate the last week or so is a lot of teams played 4 or 5 days ago. And then before that, they played back to backs. It's very strange. I guess they're just trying to fit everybody in before these NBA Cup games kind of stole the spotlight.
Yeah. Um, Thank you for that. I totally agree with that, the NBA Cup. Like Prime has been having the games, NBA Cup games on Friday, so it was really strange to see, oh, Monday and Tuesday. It's like kind of out of the blue. Usually it's different. And
Tuesday and
everyone else
Wednesday, but yes.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Thank you very much. I'm lost sometimes. That's why I need my co-host. So, yeah, Rockets are doing well.
I'm lost
Hopefully,
too. And you got a
hopefully
strange look in your eye.
I'm not gonna stop by quoting my own stuff. Is that
At
what you're
least I had enough
doing?
reference.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that is what I was doing.
Sometimes it takes me a second. I would still love to go to a Rockets game. We'll see. We'll see what Christmas is like. I haven't really looked in a bit. But fifth, we have the San Antonio Spurs, who have also fallen from grace. They were previously fourth and 16-7, 2-1 since the last episode. We will see how they are tonight. 2-2. Fingers crossed. Just kidding. Am I? So Victor Wembanyama is still out with a left calf strain. Has missed the last 12 games. It is interesting to note, though, that the Spurs are 8-3 without Wemby. I just saw the stat on the screen while looking. So they're
Oh, I
finding
see.
ways to win. Harrison
Yeah,
Barnes, I know, had one really crazy game where they were able to win.
I
And I
love
also,
Harrison Barnes.
yes, absolutely. And also, so you put here, Stephon Castle came back December 8th, one game ago, after missing the previous 10 games. You know who also returned? Dylan Harper.
Dylan Harper. Okay, I didn't realize he had come back as
Yeah,
well.
I saw he actually made the game-winning shot. It wasn't a game-winning shot. I guess it was the game-winning shot, not a buzzer beater, because there was still time against the Magic a couple games ago. And yeah, I was watching the clip. It said Dylan Harper went up for the layup and he made it. And Spurs won. I was like, oh, Dylan Harper's back. It's
Yeah,
like I
I
thought he
feel
was
like that
like
just
gonna be
totally
out.
slipped my mind.
Yeah, so basically, Spurs have most of their players right now besides Wimby, and it should be a good game. They're a good young team, and we love to see it. And so they're fifth right now. Sixth, we have the Timberwolves, 15-9. They were sixth last time as well. 2-1 since the last episode. I don't have a lot to say about the Timberwolves. I know
No.
they lost a close game recently, but they're staying afloat. Anthony Edwards doing his thing, so. When we talk about fake trades, I was trying to help them, and they are impossible to help out. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Seventh seed, we have the Suns, who were seventh seed last time. I believe they're 14-11 right now because they just lost the cup game. So 1-2 since the last episode. They had a bit of a win streak happening for a little bit. Devin Booker's missed the last two games with a groin strain and will return soon. They're sorely missing him. You can only rely on Dylan Brooks and Colin Gillespie for so long.
Did he miss
Before
today as well?
he did not
Yeah,
play. Yeah,
well, that'll
so
be the
last
reason.
three
Because
games.
he was
Yeah.
he was questionable today.
Oh, he will. Okay.
Um, after missing the last two, so there was a
Yeah.
chance. But I figured there. I literally turned the game on. They were getting blown out by 30, and I was like, turn it off. I don't want to watch actually.
Yeah,
No.
they mentioned it when I logged in when I hopped on so I started watching the game. I logged into
Uh,
the Matrix and watched the
when I
game.
locked in.
I locked into the game. Yeah, that he was still out. So yeah, they definitely are missing him. They're not the same team without him. Warriors are eighth, and they were eighth last time as well, 13-12, 2-1 since the last episode. Still with Jonathan Kaminga on the team. Maybe we'll talk about that later. Maybe we won't. We'll
They
see.
got benched
Yeah, they don't love what they're seeing.
for one game. I think he started the last game, but Monday's game he got benched.
Probably they have to. I mean, who else is going to play? Pat
They
Spencer?
benched him, and
Oh,
then they're like, "Wait
Frankie.
a minute, we suck." Actually, never mind.
Also worth mentioning, Steph Curry is still out with a quad contusions, missed the last
Mm,
5 games. It is
fair.
very interesting how the Warriors are staying afloat. They're one of those teams I think all that also kind of find a way to win. Interestingly, when they don't
Yeah.
have best players. Do you want to maybe take over, like kind of halfway through? Then we could
I'll
flip.
take over as we approach the end of the play-in. The Grizzlies at the 9 seed where they were last time, 11-13, despite being 2-0 since last episode. John Morant has missed the last 10 games with a calf strain. He is still out and will be for a little bit. Yet they managed to pull off a couple of wins, which I think is probably surprising to some people because they are still recovering as a team. Yes.
Oh, I just want to say Cedric Coward had a really good game in one of those wins. So shout out to him.
Yeah, Cedric Coward, Jalen Wells, some of the new-ish faces over there are giving Grizzlies fans some hope because it does seem like the Jaren Jackson kind of um, era is petering out a bit. But hopefully they can turn it around eventually. We'll see.
Yeah.
Trailblazers at the 10 spot, still 9-15, 1-2 since last episode. Still missing a couple guys. We mentioned Drew Holiday last time. I don't know if he's returned yet. Can't remember off the top of my head. Um, but they have kind of fallen since having a hot start to the season. Scoot still out, I believe, as well. Um, and then, you know, you can make an argument for like Deni Avdija being an all-star. That's about the greatest thing going on for their team. Other than that, it's a lot of kind of, same old, developing young
Mm.
guys, and then random old player X gets in there.
Yeah, also worth mentioning, we didn't say at the top, but no news still about, the gambling stuff with Chauncey
True.
Billups and Terry Rozier. Because when we were talking about trades later, I was kind of looking at the Heat and I don't even know what to do with, can I trade Terry or can I not? So,
Yeah, I've seen a
so
couple
Blazers still,
fake packages with Terry Rozier, and I'm like, I don't think any team would do
no,
that. I
absolutely
mean,
not.
maybe if they just need to accept salary that's expiring, I guess.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm not gonna touch that. I'm gonna let that be. So this is just worth mentioning about the Blazers. They haven't really been. I don't want to say it's because Chauncey Billups was coaching this team to that hot start. You know, but it is worth noting that yeah, he hasn't been there, and they haven't been as good. Maybe there's a little correlation.
Tiago, this is for you. Um, over at the 11th spot, rising up one in the rankings from the 12th seed, the Mavs 9 and 16, 2 and 1 since their last episode. I mentioned the win over the Rockets that they did have. Sad news for them though. Derek Lively undergoing season-ending right foot surgery after continuous discomfort. He'd only played 7 games this season, and he went out with the foot injury, came back, didn't look great, I believe, and then kind of still felt something and still feeling something. I imagine there is an underlying thing here. Typically, you don't get surgery for being uncomfortable, so I imagine they will hopefully discover what's going on, hopefully get him right. He is expected to be back next season, but uh, things not looking so hot for the Mavericks in the post Nico era already.
Get well soon, Derek Lively.
Yeah, DL2 as we call
And Dultu.
him. Dole 2.
Dultu.
Um, falling below the Mavericks, the Jazz, 8 and 15, 1 and 2 since last episode. Not a whole lot to say. I mean, it's a bad team with a lot of young players, so I'm sure we'll talk about them later.
Shout out Bryce Sensabaugh, Ace Bailey, Keontae George, and Isaiah Collier because they're playing really well. Just the
Yeah,
younger guys. It's just cool to see.
correct. 13th seed still, the Kings, 6 and 18, 1 and 2 since we
It's-
last potted. Sabonis still out, the partially torn meniscus. He's missed 11 consecutive games. just just a big old sigh.
yeah,
Um,
not fun.
not much to say with this organization right now, sadly.
Yeah, when I will say this since we're talking like thinking about trades, I think the team I want the most to do something because it looks so I feel so much dread for them. It's the Kings. So that was
It is like players I like on a team I hate. This is what's happening. So
well,
I
yeah,
don't hate the
I
Kings,
keep
like not as an organization. I just mean like as a group of teammates.
yeah, no, for sure. I also like forgot Westbrook's. I keep forgetting he's on this
Westbrook,
team.
baby.
Number
Yeah.
18, Russell
Yeah.
Westbrook.
18 seasons. Let's go.
Oh God.
Um,
Hey, this next team
also
though.
in despair of the Clippers 6 and 18, 1 and 2 since the last episode. Um, really makes you want to donate to tree planting. Shout out aspiration.
I mean,
15th seed.
all I can
Yeah.
say about this is, hey, you reap what you sow.
Nice.
Gotta say. That's it. That's all I'm gonna
That's
say.
true.
And that's it.
You grow what you plant. I was trying to turn it into another tree thing, but
Well, you reap what you
um,
sow is already a tree thing, kind of. So
I don't really, that's a good point. I can't
it's
say that
kind
I
of.
actually know what that quote is from or what it means. It's just
It's
one
from
of
the
those
Bible,
idioms that's
King.
said.
From the
But
Bible.
why would I ever know that? If
That's
you don't
true.
know, if you don't know, the
Oh,
Clippers and Kawhi Leonard are in trouble for taking money from a tree company. So that's the joke. That's the joke that's happening.
using a tree company to pay him under the table.
That's a better explanation.
The wooden table made of
Made by trees.
trees.
Right. Excellent.
Anyways, yeah,
And
Clipper.
despite the Kings' despair, you were going to say the Clippers?
No. I was just gonna put a button in it. I want you to go.
I was going to say, despite the Kings' despair and the Clippers' despair, perhaps no team feeling more despair than the 15 seeded 3 and 22 New Orleans Pelicans, 0 and 3 since last episode. Zion has missed the last 3 with an adductor strain that happened basically right when we potted last time, right before, maybe the night before.
Hmm.
And he's going to be out for at least a couple more weeks.
Oh my
Oh boy.
God, surprising. Oh my gosh, that's so surprising.
It's tough. If you live in New Orleans, where
Hug
the
a friend.
Saints
Hug
are
a friend.
horrible and the
Just
Pelicans are
just hug your
horrible,
friends close.
tough. It is, and your city gets flooded every time there's a hurricane because they built it in the most idiotic way possible. And Bourbon Street is the dirtiest place in all of America.
I do love Bourbon Street though, man. Do not get me started on Bourbon Street.
Holy moly, do I feel like I'm gonna die of an unknown disease when I go down Bourbon Street.
The first time I ever took a picture drinking next to a cop was at Bourbon Street, so it means everything to me. I was of age. I was
The
22,
first time
but
I took a picture drinking next to a cop. Is that a series of photos that you have, or?
I actually don't know have any more. I think the one and only picture I have.
Like that's a very
But that was
specific
a really
niche.
fun moment. That was a good moment.
Sure.
That was a top moment for me. I gotta get more
Um,
pictures of me with. I'm kidding. I
Mardi
don't.
Gras is overrated. The French Quarter is
This is
fun.
he's expressing his opinion. This is not the opinion of ethical ball. This is
Hey,
the opinion of
I
Damon, the
tell you what,
co-host.
a student made me very kind of them. Not just me, it was a multitude of teachers. Beignets, so good.
Dude,
So I
amazing.
said, I don't you know I'm trying to diet? Why'd you give me this, you monster? Um,
Have it for lunch. Just one. That's as many calories as you can.
it was two total beignets, and I was like, okay, I think I'll live.
Yeah.
Like,
Shout out beignets. Shout out Café Du Monde because I was where they make
that's a
them.
good place. It's a good.
Very
I've
cool.
been there. Yeah, it's good.
I forgot you live in
Um,
New Orleans. Cool. All right, shall
correct.
we? We talked
Shall
about
we
New Orleans
transition?
way more. We talked about the city more than the team, which I
We
love.
got they got something going on over there because it's not sports.
Yeah, it's yeah. There's got to be something else. The cool
Smoothie
shit.
King Center, one of the three NBA arenas I've been to.
Yeah, exactly. And now time to transition to the Eastern Conference.
The weaker conference, yes.
The weaker, sure, sure, yes. But at first, still first, are the Detroit Pistons. Our Jared's Detroit Pistons shout out. Jared, 19 and 5, 2 and 1 since the last episode. Even with Jaden Ivey being out, they are they are I guess used to him being out and they're finding ways to still win. Shout out Cade Cunningham. He's looking very good. Jalen Duren.
Jalen Duren, baby. Summer League legend.
Love to see it. Subs love to see it. Podcast legends. And then,
Correct.
interestingly, is there anything else you want to add about the Pistons? It's nothing really drastic has changed. They're still winning the games they should be winning, which is cool to see.
No, yeah, I mean, I will make a comment, and I don't want you to change what you're doing, but I just want to point out that you're going to take all the good teams in both conferences and make me take all the bad teams.
No, no,
So,
no, no. You go, you go. I
no,
was
no,
actually,
no, no,
I didn't
no,
want to make you
no,
go for way too long. That's why,
no,
but I
no,
now
no.
you go,
Yeah,
you go.
you want to talk about the good teams, talk about the good teams. No.
No, actually, I want to talk about the bad teams on the East.
Mm,
So you go, please.
there's a lot of them. Okay. Rising from the fourth seed to the second seed, the New York Knickerbockers, 17 and 7 now, 4-0 since the last episode. They beat the Raptors yesterday in the NBA Cup. They kind of crushed them, really, immediately ruining my NBA Cup bracket that I predicted last week, and then I think released as a YouTube short yesterday because I was like, "Oh, the NBA Cup's happening." I made the short that I wanted to release. I probably should have released it like the day before. I digress. OG Anunoby came back 3 games ago to their schedule after missing 9 games. He's looked really good for them, and they have looked solid as a team. Yes.
I watched the first half of the game yesterday and a
Hmm.
little bit of the second half as well. And the first half was pretty competitive. I mean, the first
Yes,
quarter
it
was like
was.
40 to 4. It was like really high scoring and they were trading buckets back and forth. Cat got into foul trouble immediately as per usual.
As he
And
does.
I will say Darko using the Hacka Robinson method in the second quarter upsetting because the
Painful.
Raptors could not really just buy a bucket at that point. But yeah, no one could just. Brandon Ingram was doing everything he could, but no one else, for whatever reason, could really create. And they resorted to ISO and maybe pick and roll when in the first quarter what was working was moving the ball around, and everything and getting out in transition. And they just kind of weren't doing that. And Jalen Brunson is incredible. So that's just
Yep.
my thing on the game. Oh yeah, OG looked great too. I that was my first time watching him since being back. Looked really good.
Yeah, I have some comments about the other team, but I'll talk about that when we get there. Because they made me look foolish. Rising all the way up to the third seed. From the 8th seed last time. The Boston Celtics 15 and 9, 3-0 since our last pod. we don't have our best player. We lost Porzingis. We lost this and that. No Drew Holiday. It doesn't matter. Somehow we're the third seed. Jaylen Brown is looking like a super duper star right now, taking on the lead mantle for them. Granted, if you look at the third seed all the way down to like the ninth seed, we're talking like a 2 game difference. So it's not like a crazy thing, but they do sit third right now, and you can't take that away from them.
Yeah, and they're beating good teams too. Like these aren't just like beating the Wizards. I mean, they did beat the Wizards, but also I want to shout out Derek White, looking really good. All-star probably. I mean, he's just looking like that caliber kind of player. And also the other guys like Hugo Gonzalez and Josh Minot, and I mean Jordan Walsh did play a really good game when I when I saw him playing. So, um, you know, good for
And the
them.
Myas Queta, we must say, has
Yeah.
been
It's holding it down.
quite good.
I think
We
the
didn't think
Celtics
he would
still,
be. We thought Chris Boucher is going to be the starting center of this team, and that has not been the
it
case.
hasn't
It's
even
been him.
played. What's
Well,
crazy about him?
he's sitting on the bench. He's warming up the chair. Fourth seed, Orlando Magic, fifth seed last time we potted 15-10, 2-2 since the last episode. They did beat the Miami Heat in the NBA Cup yesterday, as predicted on this podcast, of course. But right before the NBA Cup, they managed to beat the Heat without Franz Wagner because he went down with a pretty scary injury. It turned out to be a high left ankle sprain with no sort of structural damage, which is really good because it did look scarier when it happened against their game, or in their game against the Knicks on December 7th. MRIs came out and all that, and he should only miss 2 to 4 weeks ish. Could have been one of those things that was like a season long injury if it went as worst case scenario, but luckily that does not seem to be the case. Still kind of figuring out the shooting thing. It's getting there. The defense is still there. The identity is still there. The heart and hustle is still there. Hopefully they can stay afloat without Franz for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, what really impressed me about the Magic team watching them play the Heat in the NBA Cup was that they were down in the first half. They were down like the Heat had the lead 15, 16 points, and then they were able to come back in the third quarter and then get the lead in the third quarter and hold it all the fourth quarter. The Heat could just not, the Heat I wouldn't say are like the most defensive centric team, but they are a good team. We're going to talk about them very soon. Or did they drop down? I guess they dropped down. They were pretty high at one point.
They dropped. They dropped
Where
quite a
are they?
bit.
I don't even see them. Did we miss them?
Where? Oh, you know what? I think they're supposed to be.
Eighth. Yeah, and they're in, oh, you're good. You're
I don't
good.
know what happened though. They were
You're
here,
good.
I swear.
They dropped. You're totally good. So I'll talk about the Matt. Yeah. So what was really nice about the Magic is they were rallying. So Desmond Bain he was not making shots in the first half really, and then in the third and fourth quarter really turned it around, came alive. Paolo Banchero still trying to. I think they're still trying to figure out how they can both be on the court together. Without Franz, it seemed a little bit smoother actually because he needs the ball. Franz needs the ball. Desmond Bane's pretty good off ball, but he also is good with the ball. Jalen Suggs is amazing on defense, but his offense has been a little lacking this year is what I've noticed a little bit so far from the games I've watched. But you need him on that offense. Anthony Black looking great coming off the bench, and in the post game interview, Desmond Bain shouted out Jonathan Isaac for really helping them lock in on defense to turn the game around against the Heat. So that was really cool to see. Also, actually, I'll talk about it when we talk about the Heat because I have something to say about Tyler Hero. Nothing bad, but just something
It's
they
always
kept
something
talking.
bad with
Just
you.
something. No, 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 no. I like Tyler Hero. It's something they were talking about on the broadcast, but I'll talk about it when we get to the Heat.
Okay, that sounds good to me. I will talk about the fifth seed, formerly second, the Toronto Raptors. 15-11. You've made me look foolish, Toronto. I said they're gonna do it. They had all this momentum. They again played really, really hard with their wing system. And Brandon Ingram had been a much better fit than I anticipated, kind of giving an element to their offense that they didn't really have before, where it's like this is a guy you just give the ball to and he'll get a bucket. Like he's not Kevin Durant, but in the model of that player where he can kind of do it without the system around him. And I think a lot of guys on that team need that system. And when they need a shot, he can do it. That being said, the rest of what their team was doing really well, not turning the ball over, playing good defense, getting out in transition, all of that has kind of fallen apart and gone the other way. 0 and 4 since the last episode we recorded, lost to the Knicks in the NBA Cup tournament, like I already mentioned. Just totally, as soon as I said the Raptors are coming, they're gonna make this run, they just have fallen apart and could slide even further.
Very important to note that RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley are both out and will be out for a little bit. I don't know the exact numbers, but they will be
I
out
feel
for a
like they're
bit.
pretty
So,
small injuries.
yeah, so hopefully they come back sooner than later because for whatever reason they were really lacking that offensive creativity that they can bring. No one else can really create off the ball. I will say shout out Jamal Shed for starting yesterday. He did a really good job in the first quarter, making shots when they needed. So cool to see a guy who's earning. I just saw this $1.9 million start in an NBA game and play really well. If you don't know, 1.9 million is not a lot in the NBA. That's why I said it like that.
Less than a
But
million.
hey, you want to pay me 1.9? I'll play. I'll play my heart out for a year. You got me
I will squirt water bottles into anyone's mouth
for 1.9 million.
for
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah, I will wipe your shoes off for you. I don't know. In the sixth
Okay,
spot,
cool.
coming back up lately, the 76ers 13 and 10, 2 and 1 since our last episode where they were the ninth seed. We talked a little bit about Paul George returning. Joel Embiid is playing but not looking great. It's the Maxi show. That's pretty much still the case. Not a ton of like relevant updates here for me, at least for what I've seen, what I've noticed. They're just kind of chugging along, trying to fit the pieces together. Pieces that have been on their roster for over a year together, but haven't really played a whole lot.
I want to say two things. They are wearing their classic jersey a ton, and I love it because the court looks amazing as well. So, and number two, okay, I said three things. Number two, VJ Edgecombe got a game winner. He got a rebound and game winner, tossed it up. So, congratulations to him. That was awesome. And three, Paul George washed. There we go. That's it.
Oh, washed accusations. He's we're
My
back to
favorite.
pandemic King P.
My
Sorry.
favorite.
DeAndre Ayton sings in the shower. Who else sings in the shower? That's the broadcast I'm watching for the Lakers right now.
Oh, I
They're
don't
doing
have the.
the little trivia.
Oh, you got that. I don't have those. That's unfortunate because I do love those little trivia. They're kind of fun. They're kind of fun.
Yeah.
They'll post them on the Instagram sometime. Anyways, I can take over here if you want, or you want to keep going.
I'll keep going. You will take
Chug.
over for the Heat because I know you want to talk about them.
Oh my
But
God, I do.
at the seventh spot, we have the Cavs, 14-11, 1 and 2 since their last episode. Um, Not great for the Cavs this season, I think, coming in. Everyone basically penciled the Knicks in and the Cavs in as the two teams that have the best shot to come out of the East, with the Pacers and Celtics both having catastrophic injuries to their best player. And then people had, the Pistons, the Magic, the Hawks, kind of those next teams up. And the Cavs look worse than almost all of those teams. So it's tough. I don't know what they're supposed to do. I know Garland has missed a fair amount of time this season. Evan Mobley has been fine, but not great. It's really just been Donovan Mitchell and somebody else on this team. Please help me.
Yeah.
And they haven't helped him yet.
Yeah, I gotta say I haven't watched a lot of Cavs because it's just unfortunate because I do want to see their classic jersey more. So notice me just talking about jerseys all the time. Okay, let's talk about the Heat. Fine, Miami Heat. They are eighth. They have fallen from grace. They were third. They are 0 and 4 since the last episode. They made it into the NBA Cup. They lost to the Magic. And again, the Heat were winning. They were finding a way to win this game, and I like what one of the announcers called it. Seemed like organized chaos. Like seemed like things were going wrong, but they moved the ball around so quickly and are able to find an open man that kind of works out. A lot of the time, Davion Mitchell's playing great. Bam Adebayo, Jaime Jaquez is great. The reason why I wanted to bring up Tyler Hero is because going into this game, he's at 999 three-pointers made in his career. So he just needed one to get to 1,000. He ended the game 0 and 6 from three. And I gotta say the decision making at the end I didn't love too because they just needed a bucket and he kept chucking threes because he was like, I want to get to 1,000. Don't love that.
Wasn't
Um,
negative, but it actually was negative.
yeah. So I didn't
So
realize
you're a liar.
I didn't for I kind of forgot about the fact that he was chucking them at the end and it wasn't like 20 seconds left. It was still like they had a chance and I was, could have gotten a better shot. So didn't love that. But they it was just so close game. Like there it's just still I am not like super worried about the Heat. I don't know how they're able to win games, but they're 0-4 since. It's just, they're missing something from that. But Norman Powell is also playing amazing. We'd love to see that on this pod, especially.
Yeah, they just don't have enough, and they've done a lot with little in the last, 5 to 10 years, I would say. But this really feels like it's finally running out of steam. I don't want to speak too soon. They are still plus, a positive team, plus 500, but above 500 rather, not plus 500. That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I just don't see how they take this core into kind of a relevant playoff team.
Yeah, I agree. And somehow they still find a way, but it's hard for me to see that. Ninth, we have the Hawks, who were seventh last time, 13-9. 1-2 since the last episode. Still hurting. Trae Young is still not playing, and they were able to win quite a few games without him. But it's hard for them to beat the better teams. So you wonder how much they can stay afloat before Trae Young comes back. Also, rumors, trades. Who knows what's
Always
going to
rumors.
happen? Will Trae Young still be there? I think more now than before. I feel like I'm hearing more about Trae Young trade rumors. So
I think it's because Jalen Johnson and the defense really showed when Trey has been out. Um, and that's a hard thing to maintain when he comes back because he is not great at defense and he is also not great at not having the ball. So
yeah,
that leaves other people kind of out in the wind there.
yeah, they got to decide what their identity is. How do they think they will win games? And I got to say, if they're still able to have such a good defense without Trae Young, and you maybe make some trades to like kind of just make your offense a little bit better and bolster up your defense, then like you can make a push. I don't know if Trae Young is really gonna. You can find someone who can run an offense. I feel like without the defensive, downside basically.
Right.
So, and you don't need it to be at such a high motor of Trae Young. At least I think, but I haven't watched a ton of the Hawks. I've seen a lot of highlights and things like that.
Yeah, I would
But
say at this point they probably have enough creators that they don't need a guy to beat the system.
exactly. Exactly. 10th, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. They went up one. They were 11th last time. Congrats.
Let's
Hey, let's
go.
go. 1-2 since the last episode, 10-15 overall. Giannis suffered a calf strain in their game against the Pistons
We
on
were watching.
December 3rd. Yeah, and didn't they win? They won that game.
They won that game. He went out with that non-contact, hit the ground and grabbed his, Achilles area, and it was like, uh-oh. Just a calf strain though.
Okay, that's good. Just a calf strain. I missed 2 games since, and they both lost. He'll be out for another week or two. This is where the rumors are really swirling about trades, and I'm sure we'll talk
Hmm.
about that a little bit later. So stick around for that.
Yes. Yeah, I
I
don't know, man. I don't know.
don't know, man. You know what I do know? Bulls are 11th. Bulls are 11th. That's what I do know. They were
Remember when
10th,
the
9
Bulls
and
were six
14.
and one?
I do. I'll never forget. Thank you, Modest Buzalez. 0-3 since the last episode. And let me tell you, this is kind of where we imagined they would be. Um, I think only one more team is kind of surprising how far they've come or how far low they are on this list. But, Bulls, I don't think you should be, if you're a Bulls fan, like this, hopefully there's light at the tunnel, but it's not this season, obviously.
To be
Uh,
expected,
yeah,
I'd
you
say.
should not. Hopefully, with the 6-1, you were like, "Don't worry, they will come back down to earth," and which they
What
did.
does suck is that your first overall pick is having season-ending surgery and barely played the season. That does suck.
Oh, Noah and Singe.
Yeah, we talked about
Yeah,
that last
I'm
time.
yeah, that does suck. So you can't even develop, but just get well soon. 12th, as also last time we talked with the Charlotte Hornets, 7-17, 1-2 since the last episode. Gotta say, haven't watched it, but I do know their city jersey looks terrible. Every time
It's
I see a clip,
so much worse.
I don't.
It's
It's
horrible.
it might be. I gotta look at them again, but it might be the worst. I gotta look at all of them again. But that one looks so bad in action. I gotta say.
Yeah, I know
Anything you want?
LaMelo has missed time. Shocker.
Oh my God.
And even Brandon Miller's barely played. Yeah, it is not pretty over there. I feel like they need a shakeup of some sort. I'm not really sure what that is though.
Yeah,
I feel like they need a culture change.
that's why I wouldn't be. LaMelo is like open to a trade. I'd be like, maybe
You
you
can probably
explore that a
shut
little
down
bit.
those rumors. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going
I don't
on.
know. Yeah, I wouldn't hate that because I was like, how far can you go with if that's your leader is someone who is. I just have my.
Um, the
I want
answer
the
has been the answer is play in, as we've seen.
Yeah, and the thing is,
So,
I want the Hornets to succeed. Like, I like the idea of the Hornets, and I want them to kind of be get really good. And
except like their two most played players.
yeah, I don't want. Yeah, we don't have to talk about that. Yeah, exactly. They can just get off the
So,
team, and then we can get better people in return. Anyways, the Nets 13th, 2-1 since the last episode, 6-17 overall. Michael Porter Jr. is a hooper.
he shoot ball. Hope he gets traded. That's what I hope.
Yeah, that's basically where my head is at. Besides that, that's the Nets. 14th are the Pacers, 6-18, 2-1 since the last episode. Are they back? Are
Let's
they back?
go.
Are they back?
No, they're not back. They're just not nearly as injured.
Yeah,
So that's good. Glad to see it.
yeah. And then 15th, to no one's surprise, are the Washington Wizards, 3-19, 0-2 since the last episode. Gotta say, I don't know what's been.
Have they
I.
only played 2 games since last week? That's crazy.
It's funny. They're like 3 games behind the Pelicans, who are last in the West. So it's
Right.
interesting. You always would assume that everyone's within 2 games, but three is a lot, I feel like.
We talk about the NBA schedule. We complain about it monthly. And it's that time, so I'll complain about it. Make it better.
There we go.
The end.
In the end. Well, that's our look around the
Look, look,
league, the
look, look,
league, the
look around the
league.
league. Look around the
It's time
league.
for the segment. It's time for the
Presented
segment.
by your brand here. Um,
Your anti-gambling band here.
right. Right. You've heard of FanDuel. How about dueling fans? Ah.
How about no fan duel? Just unfan duel. Something like
uh,
that.
uh,
Anyways, anyways, let's tell me about these fake trades we're about to talk about.
Okay, this is not something that we have really done on this podcast ever. Honestly, for a long time, I've had the opinion, I think Dom feels similarly, where fake trades are kind of silly to spend a ton of time on. In reaction to or in reality, what we should do is just talk about the real trades that occur. But at this point in the season, I think it's a little too early for all stars. I think it's a little too late for breakout players. That we've kind of already seen that happen or start to happen. It's like a quarter way through the season. Why don't we talk and with the rumors that are already going on, why don't we talk about some trades that could happen, that could make sense for both teams, that could shake things up down the stretch as we kind of approach the December 15th deadline here. December 15th deadline, not trade deadline. I shouldn't say that. That is confusing. December 15th is when players that signed or re signed over the offseason can be traded. So they cannot be traded the first part of the season. Once we hit December 15th, they can be traded. So that's what I mean by that. Actual trade deadline is sometime early February.
Yep.
Um, we should also explain a couple things that Jared brought one of them to our attention. The Stipend rule is in the NBA. If you don't know what the Stipend rule is, basically teams are not allowed to trade consecutive first round picks. So, for example, if I were to try to acquire a player from a team, I cannot give them my 2026 and 2027 first round pick. I could, however, give them my 2026 first round pick and 2027 swap to where I get their pick, they get my pick. Um, so you can't trade them just outright, but you can trade pick, swap, kind of alternate. In that way, that's what teams often do.
Yeah.
Other things to kind of keep in mind here. There are certain teams, the Cavs, for example, are in the second apron. They basically cannot trade unless it is a perfect salary match. There's no aggregating salaries. You can't stack three players that make 10 million to get one player that makes 30 million, things like that. Their restrictions are so much tighter that it is practically impossible for them to make a trade that makes sense. First apron teams are in a similar boat. That's second apron, by the way. First apron teams are in a similar boat. Not nearly as strict, but you can't trade for an insane salary and barely give up anything. Um, and then, of course, with some of these deals that I put together, at least I can't speak for Dom. I have more players coming into one team. So that means, maybe they have to cycle a guy or two to a third team, or they have to waive somebody, and teams do that all the time. For our purposes, I didn't think it was like, okay, they're gonna waive this player, their 15th player on their roster. Like, you can kind of assume those things. And with all of these, for me, there are alternate destinations for these. There are alternate players. These are just things that I kind of think could make sense for both teams, for both this season and potentially the future. Dom, did I miss anything?
I don't believe so. You covered everything. Yeah. Also, when we talk about these trades, it will come up. A lot of usually picks are exchanged in trades, and they don't have any monetary value, but
Right.
they are used to like sweeten the deal, obviously. And they're more the picks from teams that you anticipate will be worse, will be more valuable. I didn't really use picks in these just because it's tough to know. I can assume what's valuable, but I don't know monetarily how much like they matter. So this is more about like the money matching, and then I
Sure.
assume some picks would go one way or another, and I'll
Picks
mention
will be
that.
involved, and
Yeah,
you never know. It's like we traded for Rudy Gobert a couple of years ago, and it was like here's five unprotected picks, and it was like that's insane. And then Kevin Durant just got traded. It was not five unprotected picks, and it's like obviously you think that player's more valuable, but the market is constantly changing. Picks, I did try to do picks, but I don't think that I'm wholly accurate on them. Um, so yeah, it's interesting.
yeah. It's really tough that aspect of it, and it's hard to. I mean, totally 100% don't grasp the pick sides, but when we were going to talk about these trades, it's mostly just players going to destinations that we think will work. I try to make them work for both teams. I know you did as well, just where it makes sense and what we think might be a little fun, might be a little different. How realistic they are leaves room to be desired. We will see. But there is a meter that Damon came up with how we were going to be rating
Oh,
our
geez.
our trades, and you have to explain it because I don't really have any refresher.
Yeah, I'm not super confident in this. It was the idea I had when I thought of when I pitched the segment as an idea that we start with the trades that are perhaps on the mild side of the spice meter, and then we build up. So we both have four trades that I think we feel okay about, at least to present them here. So we can have mild as the one that is the tamest, medium heat, your standard kind of what is that? Is medium like buffalo? Or is that it's mild like Buffalo? I think
I can't
Buffalo has
handle. I
fair.
can't. Yeah, I
Um,
can't do spicy food at all. If I see anything that's like not if it's milds on it, I'm like, okay, cool. If anything says hot, I'm done. I'm out.
yeah.
So
Okay, let's do this. Let's go.
guacamole, zero.
Okay. I was
Mild,
gonna say Let's just go mild. Let's go hot for number two. Let's go spicy for number three.
scorching, and scorching for four.
Okay.
Or you have something better. You have something
I was
better.
gonna say something insane. I was gonna be like ghost pepper habanero. One of those like big
Sc-
time
They're scorching,
scorching. Okay. Got
but
it.
no G. Scorching. The
Mild,
apostrophe.
hot, spicy, and scorching.
Scorching.
Will be our that's our meter. So I didn't really organize these in that way like I should have because I'm an idiot.
I just move
So
things around a little bit, so I can go first if you want me to.
no, I have a mild one. It's super easy. Let
Okay,
me let me set this up to you, Dom. Um,
set me up.
the 2021 draft class, player number six, Joshua Giddey, was traded to the Chicago Bulls in a one-for-one deal for Alex Caruso. Then, player number seven in that same draft class, Dom is trying to think who was player number
Who is
seven in
that?
that draft
Yeah.
class. Insert 6'7" joke.
No.
Terrible.
No, we're not
Um,
doing that.
yeah. Jonathan Kuminga from the Golden State Warriors over to the Chicago Bulls in a shocking 1-for-1 deal again for Nikola Vucevic as the Warriors progressively get older, as they apparently want to do.
The money works?
The money works. The money works. Kuminga just signed a 2-year deal. I believe his base salary right now is 22.5 mil. Vucevic is expiring, but his salary is 21 million. They are close enough that it is suitable for both teams. Um, Kuminga, however, cannot be traded until January 15th, not December 15th, because of some specificity in his deal. But other than that, it is a deal that will work.
Yeah. I mean I like Kuminga on the Bulls. Young, you get a young player. Vucevic on the Warriors. Yes, they get older, but they also get a center who can space the floor. And no one besides Draymond's really playing defense over there anyways. So I mean, they'll attempt it, which I respect, but I don't mind that. I didn't even think
And
of that. That could be a
Vucevic
one for one.
he's having a good season, He's having a solid season over there. Why not?
Yeah, no, Vucevic is absolutely great season, and he might come up for me a little later, but I have a different mild trade. But it is
Yeah. What?
involving one of the teams you already mentioned. So
Uh-oh.
I'll set the scene for you here.
Yes, please. In a world.
Ja Morant in a world where Ja Morant is disgruntled. The world we
This
live in.
world, okay.
This world.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, literally. Imagine a Grizzlies team that needs younger players. They are like, let us try to rebuild all around Trey J, all around Jaren Jackson Jr. Let's just get some young guys, maybe a pick or two, something like that in return. Um, where does Ja Morant go? Where does it make
Where
sense?
could he go?
I'm gonna
Tell me,
say it.
please.
Maybe Chicago Bulls.
Oh,
Maybe he goes
okay.
to the Bulls. Which is a very Bulls move because of course, they would get someone who's like on the young side, but not like a young, talented guy. And
Mm-hmm.
then in this trade,
John
the
Morant,
Grizz,
not young or talented, according to Dom. Interesting.
n not as young and talented as no, he's talented, but not as young as maybe other players you'd want in a rebuild. But the
I
reason
see.
why for this trade, why it makes sense for the Bulls, they get rid of Patrick Williams' contract. And you know what? Grizzlies are like, hey, we'll try to work with them. They get something going on over there.
Okay.
You get Jalen Smith, get a center over there,
Okay.
and you get Isaac Okoro. It's like, you know what? It's some depth, but you try. Grizzlies are already kind of like you're not competing this year, but maybe you could try to develop for next year and put some
That's it? That's it for Jamel?
and some picks, something like that. There really is no unless they get Vucevic, I guess. I didn't do the math on that, but Vucevic and like Isaac Okoro, something like that. But
Yeah.
I was just thinking that no, I was trying to get Ja Morant somewhere, and I thought
Hmm.
Chicago was a good place for him because he could just try to like. They don't really have a number one option. Josh Giddey is a really good passer around. Kobe White's also very good, but they've had him around for years. He hasn't been able to do that, and I think that's a good place for him to maybe just up his value again if he's able to play. So that's why I thought
Yeah.
Bulls. I'm sure the
It's
Grizzlies would want
interesting.
more.
It feels like, my first gut check reaction is it doesn't feel like enough
Hmm.
for John Morant. Part of that, I think, is I think back, 2023, 2022, All NBA, John Morant, which was before A, a lot of injuries, currently injured, currently out, and B, this off the court and sometimes on the court character issue stuff, the gun stuff, the taunt stuff, the coaching stuff, the locker room stuff. I do think both of those have probably lowered his value quite a bit. I think if you traded for John Morant in like 2021, 2022, you would have to given up a lot. I think now maybe that's not the case. I guess I wonder, are the Grizzlies and their GM and coaches kind of ready to move on and just will take back whatever, or do they want to try to re-up his value themselves?
Yeah.
I could see a team like the Grizzlies giving up on a player that they've tried to rehabilitate. If you remember the gun thing, the first gun thing with Ja, he went to like a treatment center in Florida for like it was a whole like rehabilitation. There was a
Yeah.
whole like presser about it, and then we kind of immediately went back to this guy who's had these issues. So if they're kind of done, I can definitely see that happening. Um, Isaac Okoro fits into that defensive identity. I do. That's probably the piece I like the most.
Yeah.
Um, I do wonder for the Bulls, Kobe White, Josh Giddey, who's kind of the odd man out. Does Kobe White just become a six man again? Is that the idea? I guess.
Yeah. I
Um,
also was trying to figure out some stuff for Kobe White because I just
Perhaps
don't.
reroute him elsewhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, something like that. Which is what I was cooking, but I did not just end up cooking that one
I
all the
tell
way
you
through.
what, they probably don't want the Patrick Williams contract. But
Who does?
but
But
maybe
like,
they don't want the John Morant contract. It's
yeah,
a big
because the
one and
thing
it's
is,
long as
yeah.
well.
So yeah, John Morant's is 3 years, so 2 more years after this year. Patrick Williams is another 3 years. But like, you
Hmm.
maybe you believe in him. You rebuild. I don't know what around the league what they think about that is. So maybe you have him at the three instead of the four. You know, who
It's
knows?
interesting.
I just wanted John Morant to get somewhere else. I thought it was time. As much as I'm a fan of lifers, that is seems like an area. You don't have an interview at your locker room and say talk to the coaches, talk to the coaches. Like
Yeah.
it's like what can be fixed. So
This is a good time to mention that prior to recording, I mentioned to Dom, Ja for Zion, who says no. And then I gave up on that idea because I think the money does pretty much work, but
it's
like
exact. It's
what a
yeah,
disaster of an idea for both teams. So
yeah, absolutely. Well,
yeah, but like, I could definitely see like Team A giving up on a player and Team B or the Grizzlies giving up on John Morant, and they kind of figure out a way to just get both of them. Like, what change of scenery or whatever, right?
yeah,
Maybe that helps. Yeah, it's interesting.
yeah.
I like it.
All right, you ready for my mild? Some mild?
That was your mild.
No, that was that's the least. See, I don't know anything about heat level, so that's zero.
Mild
Okay,
is the
so you want
least.
spite? You want hot?
Hot, yeah.
Okay,
Let's go
hot.
hot here.
Okay, we're gonna stick with the Bulls. We're gonna stay with the Bulls.
Okay.
Okay, hear me out.
Three trades in a row starting off the Bulls. Everyone has clicked off the podcast.
It's just this has worked out because it gets a little crazier later. So
Okay.
so Nikola Vucevic and Patrick Williams.
Oh God.
Who's a team that loves wings and like guys with like really long arms and like could
The
use a
Toronto
switch?
Raptors.
Absolutely. Oh, so and it would want young guys in return. Well, the Bulls, and they could get Emmanuel quickly and Grady Dick.
Whoa.
And
There's n
so the reason why, let me explain. So I was watching the
okay.
Raptors. Grady Dick doesn't get a lot of run now.
It
He's not
doesn't.
being played as much.
Yeah.
Emmanuel quickly. I mean, I feel like Scotty Barnes is locked in. RJ Barrett, I thought about, but he's the Maple Mamba. He's like he is the boy. Ingram's playing really well. I feel like quickly is the one out. People are scared about his contract. He's scared
His
about.
contract is crazy.
He's not scared of bad contracts. The Bulls, but what's also good is that he's young. Like he's a young guy, so you're able, and he's a really good player. And I could kind of see him working really well with like a Giddy and like a Kobe White obviously wouldn't fit in this as well, but you could try to build a backcourt with like a Quickly and Giddies.
How much of this is your Emmanuel quickly propaganda trying to get him to a place where he can have the ball more?
What? Dude, come on, man. I no, I really was the money. I thought RJ Barrett more, but I just didn't think they. I like he's Canadian. He's playing for his like team,
Sure.
So
Sure.
so yeah, that's what I thought. I thought the Raptors could use like essentially. I like Jakob Poeltl, but after Jakob Poeltl, it's Mamu who is on like a minimum, So it's like
Sandro Vucevic is like, a little Mamu-esque. I can
yeah,
he
but
spaces,
better.
he shoots,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an
Um,
upgrade from that, and also
sure.
it's kind of like the Raptors are really, or they were good. They're maybe trying to make it work. This is a 1 year
Got the
contract. So
Euro
it's like,
connection with the coach.
yeah, so it's like a 1 year, maybe try to make it work, and if it you are able to make the playoffs and it looks good, then you sign him for another 2 years, something like that. So, and then more wings, more better. Patrick Williams thrown in there, I think.
I feel like no one wants Patrick Williams. Him being in your first two trades is crazy to me.
It was
Um,
the money fit. I didn't want to give too many
yeah, for
players up
sure.
from the Bulls because like Okoro also is like 6 million. Like I'm sure the Raptors would like him, but they got a lot of shooting guards and stuff like that. So stuff, but
You know what? They have a lot of wings too, but that doesn't stop them.
I know,
They
man.
go, they go. I think the Bulls win that trade. I think IQ is probably still the best asset, but his contract is nuts.
Yeah.
It's like 150 million over the next 5 years or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's
It's
like
crazy.
32 mil for the next 4 years, basically.
Yeah.
So,
Um, so when you do compare that to the Patrick Williams contract, obviously he's a better player. But
yeah, but
um,
if your only two contract like bigger contracts are quickly 32, Giddy at 20 or 25. It was 20, right?
I don't remember.
Something like that, and then like you
I
just
feel like
kind of
it
try to
was
rebuild
actually like
about that.
30, which is crazy. But
I think it was
um,
25, if anything. Or I can actually look this up because we're all on the
Josh
same website.
Giddey contract, 4 years, 100 mil, 25. You're right. I'm wrong.
25.
I'm stupid. I'm dumb.
No, I know. I remember
Um,
if he got 30, that would be like not good. So 25
not
was
good.
in the middle.
25 is good. Yeah, let me give you my hot deal. I don't know how
Bring
hot
it.
it is. It is a player that we've talked about. It is a trade that I have basically already talked about. Let's look at the East, Dom. We've looked at the East a little bit. Let's look at it some more. If I asked you, I want you to start at the top. If I said Dominikas right now, December 10th, 2025, Eastern Conference, who is coming out of the Eastern Conference in the playoffs to make a finals appearance? I want you to start with the team most likely and then progress downward from there.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I'll say Knicks
Okay,
first.
that's fair.
And then I'll probably say I want to remind myself of the teams in the East. I'm gonna say it's hard not to say the Pistons. I'd probably say the Pistons.
It sure is not hard to say the Pistons because they're the first
Yeah,
seed right now. They're playing so well.
yeah,
And why not? Why not take the swing and bring in that guy over in Utah? Why not bring in Lauri Markkanen to the Pistons? His contract is massive. He's making $46 million. Here's how we make it work, though. Detroit Pistons. First of all, obviously this guy fits your timeline. He fits the spacing. He fits really everything I think this team wants to do on offense. They get not only him, but legend. Yes, I said it, legend. Kyle Anderson from the Utah Jazz in this trade in which they give up Tobias Harris's $26 million. Has to be in it for the money. Duncan Robinson, $16 million, probably has to be in it for the money. Don't worry, Lauren Markkinen can basically cover both of their production by himself, I think. And then for the Jazz, I did give them young asset. Seems like kind of an outlier on this team at this point. Jaden Ivey was included, is expiring as well. Will need to be extended this offseason. And then for the package I put together, I did 2026 and 2028 first round picks, as well as a swap in 2027. The Jazz will probably be worse than the Pistons, anyways, so I don't imagine that swap will amount to much. Um, so two first round picks: Tobias Harris, Duncan Robinson, Jaden Ivey, and a potential swap for Lauri Markkanen, Kyle Anderson was my full deal.
yeah. I had a feeling it was going to be that because I've been hearing. I mean, we've all been hearing Market and Pistons rumors for a while now, and I like the fit a lot. I think it makes sense for the Pistons because you're playing really well. Think something is clicking there, working. You lose a little bit of shooting, you lose some youth. Good thing is you have a lot of other young players who are good. You still have some shooting over there, and Markkanen is a very good shooter as well. So you're getting size out of this as well. So your defense is probably going to be improved by a little bit. Tobias Harris is older, Laurie is younger. So it makes sense. And for the Jazz, I'm assuming the Jazz are getting the picks from the
The
Pistons.
Jazz are getting the Pistons picks, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So that it makes sense. Jazz are just more picks, better, and trying to think of like who's the Jazz are already a conglomerate of people. It's like Kevin Love, Nurkic, and then you have Keontae George and Collier. It's like not exactly melding. So I see that
Yeah.
totally happening. And I think Duncan Robinson fits enough. Jaden Ivey obviously fits. I think him and Keontae George would be like a defensive nightmare for the Jazz.
For the Jazz, right?
Yeah, but if you're able to bolster that up, and then he is expiring, like you said, so maybe you see what you can do with that, or let him go because you got the picks. So I mean, this is probably one of the better packages that can be put together. But
Uh-oh.
I might have one that might be also just as good, maybe a little bit sweeter. Let's
Oh,
talk.
okay.
Let's talk about it. Let's
Yeah,
talk about
if I'll say before we move to yours, I tried to do this without including Ron
it.
Holland, Asar Thompson, those other like really good young guys. If you need to include one of them, I really don't want to give up a Thompson brother. Um,
Yeah, I was thinking
and I thought the
Sasser, but
picks and Ivy, Sasser's already a little older, but they do
hmm
need more consistent point guard play. Keontae George and Isaiah Collier is basically all they got. Um, So, yeah, it's weird. It's definitely a weird idea. I think the Jazz need to move on from Markkanen basically ASAP while he's still playing at this level. And this is just the team that clearly made the most sense to me. And like you said, with the East feeling so wide open after the Knicks, let's take a shot, right? Because if
totally.
not now, Tatum comes back next year, Halliburton comes back next year, et cetera, et cetera. But let me hear your Lauri Markkanen deal, your
Yeah,
spicy deal.
my spicy deal. So very similarly, so we got Lauri Markkanen in the trade from the Jazz. But who is another team in the West who is probably doing a little bit better than you would expect? Maybe their best player is out and they're still winning games. That's right.
Hmm, is it the San Antonio Spurs?
You're gosh dang right. It's the San Antonio Spurs. So
Interesting. Okay.
in this package, what I put together for the Jazz, I put Devin Vassell. I feel like he's got
Yeah,
to be there.
that's a big name.
It's a big name. He's playing very well. But if you are, the Spurs are having a lot of people that are playing really good as well. Like Julian Champagnie is kind of really playing really super well, and Keldon Johnson is also kind of having a little bit of a resurgence, I feel like. So you have guys already that are able to do that shooting guard creation. Plus you got Stephon Castle, and I didn't include. It was hard because obviously the Jazz they're probably like Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper. Maybe they're included in this at some point, but to kind of fill in, I put Kelly Olynyk because it's also kind of filler, but also fits. Um,
I don't I don't think they would give up Castle or Harper for Markkanen.
yeah,
Maybe for a more highly touted player that I considered, but
yeah, I know what you're thinking too. But yeah, I was thinking just like for the money like Jazz get Olynyk back, and then it's a 1 year deal, so he'll find somewhere else to go.
sure.
They're kind of getting these older guys, and then I also put Jeremy Sohan because he's also kind of
Okay.
to me he's kind of the odd man
Yeah.
out with the Spurs,
It feels that way.
and and I think with the Jazz he could little maybe have more time to just kind of develop and just become like the player he can be. With the
He could
Spurs
really
because it
help
seems
their
like
defense.
yeah, because I feel like their timeline the Spurs with the Wimby's pushed a little bit, and I think Sohan can like work on his stuff a little bit somewhere else. So
Kessler's
um,
out for the season too, so I don't hate the inclusion of Kelly Olynyk as well.
yeah, so it makes you a little bit competitive at least for this year, and then probably like a pick or two from the Jazz. Just but I don't know exactly like what's valuable, so I'm not
From
gonna
the
go into like that.
Jazz,
Or wait,
they're getting
yeah, yeah. I feel like they would give up like
because Markkanen is clearly the best player in the trade still.
so maybe the I'm sorry. Sometimes so the Spurs. Sorry, the Spurs get a pick or two. I get confused by looking at both of
They
these. My
get
bad.
a pick or two, or they give a pick or
So
two.
Jazz get Devin Vassell, Kelly Olynyk,
Yes.
Jeremy Sohan, and a pick or two.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
Originally.
sorry. I get mixed up sometimes. My bad. Just because it's yeah, whatever. So that's
That's
that's that's
a
the trade.
That's a sweet package. You're right. It's sweeter than the package I said. I worry that the Spurs would not bite at the apple at this deal. Vassell and Sohan. Sohan, I understand. Vassell, I understand a little less. He kind of fills in a role for them at the three position that they don't have a lot of options. They run a lot of Harrison Barnes at the four, and then they kind of run Keldon Johnson off the bench, Julian Champagnie off the bench. Vassell kind of fits that like for lack of a better comparison, like the mini Brandon Ingram of their team, where he's like the wing guy that can take mid-range jump shots. And they
Yeah,
don't have a ton of that outside of that. Um, which is what I would worry about for them accepting it, I mean. But
yeah.
if I'm the Jazz, this is obviously a great package. I think I would definitely take it. I also wonder, I know it's a new coach, Mitch Johnson. I wonder something I wondered a lot through this exercise because I don't have a Spurs trade. I considered multiple Spurs trades, and when we get to one of my other trades, I'll tell you who I consider them for. But something to consider is Wimby, Fox, Harper, Castle. They look really good. They've won without a lot of them this season. When do you try to take on the Thunder? Because the Thunder just won the championship. Everyone in their core is extremely young. But everyone in the Spurs core is extremely young, except for Fox. So do you try now? Do you develop a year or two and fear that the Thunder will also develop into an even better team in a year or two? That is like a thing I kind of ping ponged around in my head, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And that's something I thought about too. I mean, I'm thinking about, do any, after these trades, any of these teams beat the Thunder? It's tough. On
Right.
any day, they've so far they only lost to one team this year, and I wouldn't even have said that they would have beat them. So, it is a tough thought experiment to
Tell you
do
what, the
that.
Thunder certainly have the assets to trade for Lauri Markkanen. They won't, but they do. They have
Oh, I
they
know,
have
I know.
a lot.
Yeah, and yeah, it's again, it's one of those things like if it ain't broke, then don't try to. But also,
Right.
like you can. I don't know, probably not. I don't
Oh,
see that. But I want you to tell me about your. Are we on? Oh, this is your spicy right now,
spicy, correct. Spicy,
please.
spicy. I like this deal that I came up with here. So, Franz Wagner went out. Tough. Magic want to stay afloat. They want to compete. Again, the East is open, Dom. It's open for the taking.
Hmm.
And as long as we can get in that upper echelon, we think that we have a chance here down the stretch. What are the Magic missing? What are they not so good at? Can you give me some aspects of their team you think they could use some help on?
Shooting.
Okay, shooting. Anything else?
Um, just offense
Just
or play
offense.
or playmaking.
Playmaking, okay. So shooting, playmaking, and offense. Man, there's somebody I know that's really good at that. And his name is Trae Young. Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks. Oh, guess what? Well, you know what? Just we really need
Yeah.
some shooting. How about a little Luke Kennard action for you as well? Trae Young and Luke Kennard to the Magic from the Hawks. Here's the package I put together. Starts with Jalen Suggs. Um, He makes a lot of money now, 30 plus million, by the way, and is also their kind of point guard. So a point guard swap. And because what I kind of alluded to earlier when you were talking about the Hawks and our look around the league, when Trae Young has been out, they have really locked in on defense around Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Zachary Ricochet. It's kind of been a different Hawks team almost. Um, so, in order to assist make the salary match and help with your defense, Jonathan Isaac, you can have him as well, Atlanta Hawks, in addition to Jalen Suggs. I threw in two additional players to get the money totally there. Players that feel kind of young enough to be like, yep, these are building pieces for us in the future for the Hawks. And also I don't know. Oh, and kind of outcast of the current kind of
Yeah.
Magic system. Like they're not super core to their identity. One of those players is Summer League legend Jet Howard. who basically doesn't play for the Magic ever. Theoretically, he's like a 6'8" shooter, but he doesn't really get on the court for them despite their
Hmm.
need for shooting. And then other players, their first round pick this year, Jace Richardson, son of Jason Richardson. I included him because I was off on the money by like a million and I needed somebody else. But maybe they find a way to do it without him. I think Tristan da Silva feels a little too important to the Magic. Obviously, like Anthony Black and people like that are like way too important. So didn't include that. And then pick wise, what I ended up with, Atlanta has this diabolical pick swap with the New Orleans Pelicans who are 3-22. Um, Magic can have that, and they can have I put a 2027 thing in here too. So two picks: Jalen Suggs, John Isaac, Jet Howard, Jace Richardson for Trae Young, Luke Kennard. The Hawks buy in on defense. They buy in on Jalen Johnson as their premier player, and Dyson Daniels is kind of that defensive identity. Totally new team. The Magic add shooting, playmaking, and offense all around in Trae Young, while I think maintaining the big wings, Franz, Paolo, to still be a good defensive team.
Gotta say, I was doubtful when you started talking about it. I like it. I understand both sides. It makes sense. My only concern is, and you know where I'm gonna go with this, is that Jalen Suggs is like their without him, I'm concerned their defense won't be as good. That's my only
I
is
mean, it
because
won't be as
he
good.
is like, but he is like they're like he's the one like they've rallied behind on defense. Like
Yeah.
starts with him and then it trickles down. So like they will still be kind of good, but my worry is will the Trae Young be too much of a detriment on defense that it'll just like fall off completely. Maybe the offense will get better because the shooting is
Yeah.
better and I did mention that Jalen Suggs is having kind of a down year offensively. I don't hate it. I really don't. I don't know why do the Hawks have to give up such a valuable pick in this? Is it because
Um,
Trey Young just he's like he's an all-star, like he's that good of a caliber player? Is that I was trying
you
to
know what?
understand.
You're so right. I did the thing that you did. I was supposed to have the Magic give
Yeah,
picks to the Hawks, not the what. I
that
did
make
the
yeah. So
total wrong thing.
that makes sense. Okay, okay, cool. I get that. Yes. Then
Oops.
then I'm then I would think long and hard about it.
Imagine
I would, but
Jalen Suggs and Dyson Daniels as your backcourt.
no, it is. I'm like, I'm a little bit concerned. Like, okay, so who's now gonna like play make? But maybe it's again like we were talking about earlier. Maybe you get someone if it doesn't work out this year, you get someone who's. I mean, Jalen Suggs is pretty okay at playmaking. He's not like Trey
They still
Young,
got
but.
Nah too. They got a couple guys.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I mean, like, I would probably be convinced to do it. But definitely the picks were it threw me off for a second, but that makes
The
sense.
picks through. I definitely did that
See, it's so
incorrectly, so
easy because
that's
you're just
on
like,
me.
what is happening here? So I get that.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I really want? I'm ready to be scorched. I want to get
You're ready to
scorched.
be scorched? Okay.
Scorch me.
You want me to scorch you first? I'll
Yeah,
scorch your
we're
back, you
snaking.
scorch mine.
We're snaking.
Um,
Scorch me. Scorch me, co-host. Scorch me.
okay. The last player,
Hmm.
the most rumored player,
Yeah.
is Giannis. So we have to include a Giannis trade in the segment, or we wouldn't be doing the segment justice, I imagine. Dom, Dom, Dom. I keep having you do this, but I kind of think it's fun. Um, can you list teams that you think make sense as a Giannis destination?
Let me look
Or
at.
perhaps teams that have been rumored, teams, blah, 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 blah,
So first and foremost, I think of the Lakers. I think they could
blah.
really
Okay.
use a Giannis. Okay,
LeBron for
no, for real,
Giannis.
for real. Okay, so the first one I think was Knicks, obviously, because
Knicks has
that
been the
was
big one. That
yeah.
was the report.
I'm a little worried how much the Knicks would have to give up for
I
that, but
tried.
yeah,
It
it's tough.
was without Cat, it leaves them incredibly thin.
Yeah,
If you do Cat, he makes so much money that you can basically do a one for one and kind of fill it in with young players and picks. Um, with Cat, without Cat, you have to do like OG and Mikhail. You have to like
yeah.
do like insane amount of depth, which is not great. And I was like, okay, actually, I don't love, like, I don't want the Knicks to walk into the playoffs with 7 people on their roster. So I gave up on the Knicks, but I did try. Please continue.
Yeah. And then I would think I know Spurs are rumored as well.
Spurs was the one I was talking about for Lauri Markkanen. I
Hmm.
think you have to include Castle or Harper in that. I just again don't know if the Spurs are ready to take that jump, so I didn't not the team I landed on, but another
Yeah.
consideration.
Last one I remember like hearing just like people trying to make it work with the Hawks.
Oh, the Hawks. That's weird. I don't
Yeah.
have a Hawks one. That's weird. How about a team that has real high playoff aspirations that also just acquired a 37-year-old superstar, and the timeline is much shorter than they probably want it to be. So they need to win now. They don't have time like the Spurs to perhaps wait a couple of years and see where the Thunder are going to land. Their guy's aging. They need to win. Giannis, come to Houston, baby. Come to the Rockets. Yes, excellent. So, you're asking yourself, Damon, what did the Rockets have to give up to get Giannis Antetokounmpo in the building? And not only Giannis, I included Thanasis in this trade, of course.
You have to.
I had to. It's all the Rockets get, by the way, Giannis and Thanasis. So it's really tough. It's a tough number wise to get because Giannis is making $54 million, which is a lot of money. Um, I think in my little brain when I think about Giannis Antetokounmpo, you basically cannot make this trade without giving up Şengün, which is the primary asset that I included here. Because obviously you're not going to give up Kevin Durant. That's the aging star I was alluding to. Fred VanVleet makes a lot of money, but obviously ACL injuries are not going to take him as the main salary of a deal like this. So there's really just not a lot left. Jabari's extension hasn't kicked in, doesn't kick in until next year. Um, and then, yeah, there's not a lot of money left on the table. So Şengün is the primary piece. I think if you somehow manage to do this money wise without Şengün, the like most valuable asset would be Amin Thompson, and I sure don't want to give up Amin Thompson because I want him and Giannis to play in transition together. I've kind of voiced my opinion about Şengün ball. I'm not the biggest fan of it. He's been our best player this year, probably, but in terms of the eye test when I watch it, I just get kind of fatigued. Um, so Şengün, I had to basically include both Stephen Adams making 14 million, and Dorian Finney-Smith is making 13 million for this trade to really work. Um, you could tell me that instead of one of them, I have to include Jabari, who is making like 11 million, and next year his big contract extension kicks in, where I'll start making like 20 million a year. Um, but I didn't want to because I want to keep Jabari. So I tried my hardest. And then this is what I did. I did a lot of picks. We have a bunch of Phoenix picks. They look better than expected, but we have a bunch of those still from the Kevin Durant trade. So, which is weird because we traded for Kevin. We still have their 2027 pick, even though we traded most of their picks back to get Kevin Durant. Still have that one. So we can give that to them. And I did swaps in 2028 and 2030, and then I did all first round picks in 2029 and 2031. So three first round picks, two first round pick swaps, Şengün, Steven Adams, Dorian Finney-Smith for Giannis and Thanasis.
So first off, seriously, man. That's first. Which once we talked a little bit before we started podcasting, and you did mention that you have a Rockets one, and the more we went down, I was like, I can tell what's happening. Which is fun. I get it. I thought about the Rockets maybe getting somebody, but I didn't try Giannis. So I think I like all the picks. I like Şengün. To me, I think it's got to be Jabari instead of DFS. I
Yeah.
think I think that's the only thing. And besides that, like that is a really good like package. The Bucks have like nothing now, like no assets. And even like
The
not really
Twin
you need a
Towers of
young.
Alfred Şengün and Miles Turner will lead us to success.
It's better. It's not better than Giannis, of course. There's no way. whoever's trading for away Giannis
The
doesn't
Bucks
win.
are getting worse for sure.
Yes, for sure. But it's the picks that you're hoping for, and like the fact if the picks are a little bit further out, Kevin Durant won't be there in a couple of years, like 3 years. He'll probably play 2, 3 more years at the most. So, you're maybe betting on they get whatever they can right now, their championships and whatever, and then they get a little worse. Their picks become more valuable. Um, I don't hate it. I would love Giannis on the Rockets. If you're Houston, you say yes immediately. I was worried. I mean, obviously, Amin Thompson. I don't think you should include for sure. I was worried it was going to be like Tari Eason and Jabari and like Shingun and like more young guys. So if you're able to make
Yeah,
it work without all that,
here's the thing about this deal in particular. Obviously, Giannis, we talked about him, top three player in the NBA, right? Four, maybe at the lowest. Um, he is 31, and he did go out with the calf strain, and he was injured also before that, and he has been injured in the playoffs a lot recently. And like multiple reports in the past couple months, let alone years, um, that he wants out. So I think this kind of depends on how much he's going to force his hand and how much value teams like. I think teams obviously are like, yes, he's Giannis, duh. But in terms of, are we really going to give up all of our picks, all of our young guys, etc., for a superstar, an MVP that has been a little injured, and we don't quite know if we can still beat the Thunder, basically. I just feel like the Rockets, like I said, with the Kevin Durant trade, it's like the clock is ticking. They have to do something now if for the Kevin Durant trade to pay off. So why not further buy in? I guess was kind of the thought process I had. Ultimately, what led me over the Spurs in that decision, and then I mentioned with the Knicks, um, that just left me a little too thin for me to be comfortable.
yeah, I think that makes total sense. Hey, I'll say that I would love it for the Rockets.
Tell you what, the Heat also showed up, and I was like, "Who on earth are the Miami Heat trading to,
That when I
to the Bucks?"
Total. The Heat have nothing. Like there really is. It's always like, oh, Andrew Wiggins. Like, okay, he's good, but he's not like Giannis for Wiggins good. Absolutely
Right?
not. Um, that was a good one. That's a good one. I would not be.
Are you feeling scorched or?
That is a scorcher. Mine's I don't think
Mm,
as scorched as scorching as that as scorching as that one. I will say,
uh,
but I think it's a good one nonetheless. So.
let's hear it.
Let's hear it. So, this is one I mentioned a little bit earlier. You also mentioned the Pistons, but I think they can go a little different route than Lauri Markkanen. And
Sure.
this is where we're going. So we're going. There are rumors before he left Chicago, and I liked the
Mm,
fit. Zach Lavine.
mm,
Zach Lavine to Detroit. So Detroit would get Zach Lavine and threw in a little bit of money because I know they Pistons would maybe want someone a little younger. So Devin Carter is getting off a little 4 mil, just a young guard who can play. Here's what the package is for the Kings. So Tobias Harris, you have to. We talked about with Lauri Markkanen. Interestingly enough, as well, I added Jaden Ivey. You get a
mm,
young guy who's to me pretty Zach Levine-esque. We haven't been able to see a lot of him,
sure.
unfortunately, because he's too injured. But if you believe in him,
The
which
mold is there.
the mold is there, and I believe in it, so it's like okay, at least you're getting a player you believe in, and you can try to develop. I added what?
I have the game on. Did you see LeBron dunk on Luke Cornett and scream in his face?
No, I missed that.
Dude, he dunked on Luke Cornett, and then it showed like the baseline angle, and it's just LeBron like at Luke Cornett for way too long of a time.
That's my goat. That's my goat. No, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's halftime. We're down by 12. This is sick. We're not gonna talk about that right now. It's okay. So okay, so back. Okay, so yeah, so Tobias Kings get Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey. I also threw in Karis LeVert. The reason why I
Mm,
threw in Karis LeVert is the money fits, and also you get a guy who can also create and shoot and score. So you're getting a mold of the guy that you want on this team. His contract is only this year and next year, so it's nothing like if you don't think he's a good fit later, then figure it out. And then I also added Paul Reed to this, and the reason why is because the Kings need centers. They have no one. In a perfect world, the Kings would also trade Sabonis and DeRozan, but
Right.
I don't know if that's going to happen. So Paul Reed is a backup because right
So
now it's Dario Saric,
is it a 4 for 2?
4 for 2, and I
Yeah.
also threw in a pick.
Okay.
So the Kings would get a pick because Pistons have some of the assets. I will say as
Mhm.
well, this cannot happen. This trade would not be able to happen until January 15th because of
Mhm.
some salary increase that Paul Reed, when he signed, he would get. So that is the package. I think this really helps the Pistons. They get that scoring that they need, and they're not really losing anyone who's like producing as much as Zach Lavine, and also not locking in on defense as much as your other guys. So, and then for the Kings, you just get younger. You get a guy you can develop. You get a pick.
They do give up Carter too, though, right? That's
Yeah,
one of the younger guys in their team.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And Paul Reed and him make about the same amount of money. So if that's like there's we don't want to do that, then I get it. But I just thought Kings could get something a little bit more because Zach Lavine is having a good year and he's still very good.
I was also going to ask about that because, by golly, I sure don't want to tune into Kings basketball if I don't have to.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
he's having like yeah. So he's having a
I'm
fine year.
watching this halftime show, and there's a woman wearing a leotard who is rolling around on the ground in crypto, uh, and
I
and
love
then just
LA.
shot a bow and arrow at a target from the floor in her leotard, and now is doing a handstand on some poles. This is an insane halftime show.
I love LA.
What's
I
happening?
love LA.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I feel like this is a trade that ultimately, like you mentioned, has to be part of a larger set of trades for the other guys on their team
Yeah,
to ship out for me to kind of get the ultimate picture. Um, it sounds like they kind of would end up with an amalgamation of young talent and random old guys,
yeah.
which is kind of what their team is right now, except their old guys are like the most talented by far, and then everyone else is like, okay. They're like the most talented, but not talented enough for their team to matter. Um, which is sad. What if they just trade Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan? What if they just give them both? Just keep that train going.
The power of friendship. I do want to mention too. What's kind of nice
Yeah,
about the Zach Levine contract is that it's only 2 years. So you
yeah.
know, so you're doing really well this year. You need some more scoring, more production, someone who can shoot. You get him. Next year, he's on there, and then maybe you try to pivot into something else. I think Markkanen's is like a 3 or 4 year. I mean, I do like both players on the Pistons. I think it just depends like almost who calls first. And I'm
hmm
almost more worried like the Kings would be like, why we give up Zach Levine? He's so good right now. It's like, yeah, because you're like four
Because you're
and
6 and
16.
18. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it came
tough.
to mind for me. I was able to make the money work, and without
Yeah,
the Pistons giving up too much young guys as well. And it's like you're renting Zach Levine to be able to shoot and produce. So that's why I cooked that up.
yeah. I like that. That was scorching, as they say.
Gorgeous.
Let's see. Honorable mentions for trades that didn't happen. Anthony Davis, perhaps, because Lord knows what the hell is happening in Dallas.
I mentioned it earlier. Sabonis. I did try some Sabonis stuff. Nothing
Yeah.
really worked out. I didn't know where he would really
MPJ.
fit. MPJ. I did cook up like a little bit of a Kobe White trade. Just that was definitely less stakes because it's like no, Kobe White's not going to be the decision. I just saw the dunk. By the way, with them
Did you see him
screaming at it.
scream?
I just saw that.
He screamed for so long.
They're all laughing in the AT&T studio. Udonis Haslam is laughing with Blake Griffin and everyone, like
Naturally.
the GOAT. Anyways, um, yeah, I
I'll
was just
mention Also, I mentioned Zion Lamelo is a one for one that kind of works, which is horrendous, and
Yeah.
neither team should do.
I
But
think
funny,
Yeah, I think it was really interesting to see like the top trending people who people are kind of playing with trading.
Keon
And
Ellis,
uh
so random.
yeah, Keon Ellis, super a lot of Lakers players, but obviously I know they're just trying to package them together for
Right.
somebody, something. So things of that nature.
This was fun. I
Yeah,
enjoyed this.
this website's really cool. Shout out Fanspo. Shout out.
Unless they're bad,
I don't
but
know.
if they're not,
Then shout out. If you're good, then shout out. Yeah, yeah, this was fun. Some people I expected, some a little bit not as much. So that was a
oh,
fun exercise. I'm very curious to see, we will react to trades that do happen, do not happen, who stays the same, who gets better. We'll talk about that very soon. Currently, yeah, the Lakers are losing in this NBA Cup. We'll talk about the NBA Cup more next time as well. They better win. Please. You're at full strength right now. Please,
they're
just win.
down. I just watched the leotard halftime performer do a handstand on the poles and then shoot the bow and arrow with her feet at the target. So now it's all coming together. Now I get it.
Yeah,
They showed this two skill separately and now combine them into one skill.
it's beautiful. I love LA. God, I love it.
Um, what are we gonna do next time?
Jeez, I don't know. NBA Cup recap.
That will
Um,
happen.
Maybe we'll have more news about what's going on with the Clippers with Chris Paul. We were also talking about that. I was trying some Clippers trades, but I wasn't sure if I could even include Chris Paul in a trade
I thought
because I don't know if
about
he's
one of my
waived or not.
scorching ideas was like selling Kawhi Leonard to the Heat, and I was like, okay, this is too
I tr
scorching,
I
perhaps.
tried I tried Kawhi to. Oh, I was thinking Kawhi and Ja. And like you have to
Oh
give up some more
God,
stuff. But it's like I don't really even
crazy.
know how the Grizzlies would do that. And then
Next time we'll do the same thing, except only three team trades.
yeah, we'll learn how to somehow compute that too. We'll make it work. But yeah, I just want to say thanks again to everyone for listening. If you got any fake trade ideas, let us know. Comment down below. What'd you cook up? What can we
They
talk
won't,
about next
but
time?
this basketball is dated 2016. Holy moly, I've had this for a long time. That's,
Wow, well, that ball's almost
that's
10 years old.
That's crazy. But ball is life. I'm calling an audible. That's a football term. I'm calling a substitution. Dom, I'm not doing the backward shot anymore. I can't make it. It's too hard.
What if you
It's too
turn around and
sad.
shoot it?
That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say I'm gonna
Okay.
actually take the shot normally, so I have a chance. Because I've missed 90 episodes in a row, and I'm
It
so depressed about it.
it's insane that you made two so early on.
Two and
Like,
I don't remember
it was
exactly,
like
but it was literally like
4 and 8.
6 and 8.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
something
so
like that. It
two
was
in the
yeah,
first 10 episodes, and then we have a 90, a
a
90
drought. We got
game
to put a
streak
clip
right
together
now.
of just like
That would
savage.
be funny. That would be good. Um,
It'd be funny.
that would take way too much effort, but would be hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. The top 100 shots like in order. Like
Yeah.
which ones you any of them that get in the water bowl or at the bottom, that's for sure.
There's a lot of water bowl.
I know.
It every time. So yeah, I think for the time being, until I can figure something out, and we should mention there was a setup change.
Yeah.
The goal is over here. I used to be in a different apartment. The angle is a little different. That's when I made the two shots. Since moving here, I'm over. It's a disaster. I'm looking like prime Shaq from the 3 point line, Shadley. Um,
You're cooked, man.
so now we're turning around. We're turning around and taking the shot the
Do
old-fashioned
it.
way.
Sounds good to me. All right,
I want to
Damon's gonna
make sure
take the
I'm still
shot.
in the camera though. Can you still see me? You see me when I
Yeah,
do this? Yeah.
yeah, I can see it.
Here,
All
let me
right,
scoot over a little bit. I
all
built a new
right.
chair, by the way. I got a new chair now.
Really, I gotta get it. On my chair I sit in, it hurts. It hurts my ass, man. My
Black
ass.
Friday, baby. Ugh.
Like
Ugh.
2 weeks ago. All right, shoot it.
Ah!
Wow, rimmed
Oh,
out. Great
oh, rim
shot
out.
though.
Oh,
Great first shot.
Oh, I did.
You tried. It was
For those of
amazing.
you that believed in me at home with the change, I'm so sorry I let you down. This new change, I'm 0 for 1, shooting like prime Shaq from three. It's the same joke again.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I haven't heard that one yet. I haven't heard. But yeah,
Um,
just want to say again, everyone, thanks for listening. Let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about or any fun segment ideas if you have it. We're very excited for the holidays coming up soon and all that. And Damon dunked it, so he was able to redeem himself. I just want to say thanks again for being with us. Next time will be our 100th episode.
oh,
Great.
we should have a special thing. That's what we should do. We should have like a looking back at our top. We should come up with memories if we can of like.
It's so hard to recall things though sometimes.
Luckily for you, there's how many fucking pages is this thing?
Oh my God, at this point.
188 pages of Google Doc outline to to peruse. That's
Can't wait to
insane.
just like browse this in my free time. Yeah,
Actually,
100
go.
episode next.
Between this time and next week, we will both have watched all 99 episodes back to see what our favorite moments was.
Watch, not just listen, watch as well.
Watched. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so thanks again for being with us, listening to us. If you have listened to us, and we really appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time on
Love you.
Two Man Game with David and Dom.
Buckets.